Hey guys, it's Levi Gates for the Rag Company, and with me, Mr. Dylan Von Kleist of RUPES. How you doing, brother?
Thank you very much for having me, sir.
Well, this is a special Details with Levi edition where we actually have RUPES in the house, and we're gonna play with some tools, some products, some pads, and we are gonna be doing it on this clapped out 2007 Ford F-150 that has 210,000 miles on it. This thing is beat.
And it shows every single one of those miles.
We didn't clean the wheels. We didn't clean the back window. We literally just washed it and clayed this side of the paint just so we could actually play around with it. So we're not gonna detail this whole thing. This truck, when it's done, is gonna be going back to my buddy Matt Ward at Hawks Detail to finish and get it ready for sale. So we get to play around with it, which is awesome. So we wanna thank them for allowing us the opportunity.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely perfect demo vehicle, first
Exactly.
test vehicle. It's something that a lot of people don't think about when we do our testing at RUPES of a product. We actually want something with defects deeper than we believe we can take out.
Right.
And most people go, oh, that seems crazy. And you go, well, but if the first pass removes everything from the surface, you don't know if it was the perfect amount or way too much to do that, right? You want to only remove as much paint as you have to. So this is perfect because there are certain scratches in this, I know, even our combined superpowers, Wonder Twins activate, are going to be able to take out. So we can hit this with really aggressive stuff and see the percentage of improvement over really, really screwed up.
Right.
And go, oh yeah, like it definitely couldn't get these, but it got everything else around it, you know?
Yeah. And realistically, we're not going for show quality here. This truck has chips and scratches, and I mean, we're dying when we were going over it. You'll see the before footage of the truck. This thing was hammered.
It's something else.
Everything that we're gonna do to it is actually gonna make it better. Yeah. And it's just we did a couple test spots. The clear coat is really, really dry. Yeah. So all the lubricants that are in the compounds and polishes are actually just absorbing into the paint because it's so dry and chalky. So this is going to be fun because we're actually going to get to see a progression. Yeah, we're going to be doing here.
We're going to do kind of this is my recommendation for how you would perform a test panel, because the typical way most guys do a test panel is they go, okay, well this is the pad, the compound I always use, and they hose it on and they do their 2 foot by 2 foot and they go, okay, that's good enough, and they go. Right. Or they go, oh, that's not good enough. And then they put in the exact same spot, they do another product on top of it. Right. And they don't really know what they don't see the change. You can't progressively see it. So what we're gonna do is kind of a step down panel. This isn't a technical step down panel, but this is a simple way for somebody to evaluate each step in the process, see the progress, and then pick within that range of things, what's the result they're going for. So, we've prepped this panel, and obviously you wouldn't tape off a panel to do a test panel, but this is kind of for your education.
So you guys can see it.
Yeah, and we're going to label each stage for you, so it's really obvious what we're doing. And then you can deploy this method in your garage or in your shop, and it helps you. It seems like it's a longer process because we're going to do multiple things, but we will get to the solution much faster than you would if you just kept polishing that same spot over and over again and trial and error. It's just not going to work out.
And I actually, in a shop setting, I had a customer that showed up. They actually owned a car wash, and their car was their test subject for their car wash to make sure the car wash didn't actually dent the car. Could care less about scratching it, so the car was super scratched. He wanted to make sure that his machines didn't hit his car and smack, make sure they were actually cleaning. He said, I do not care that it scratches. He goes, but it scratched the hell out of my car, and it's a lease, and I need to turn it back in. Yeah. And so we actually used this, did this version of a step down panel on the car because it was so hammered. We weren't sure if we were gonna have to wet sand it. We weren't sure if we were gonna have to, so we literally did do a 4-panel progression and just saw what we could get done out of the whole thing. Yep. So without wet sanding it.
Yeah, exactly. And well, that's always a method of last resort, right? Or in some cases it's necessary. So we're gonna do my favorite tool, the LHR 15 Mark II. And we're going to be using, because we know how hammered out this thing is, our brand new Coarse microfiber cutting pads. Just because I could mess around with some more fine steps, but
we already know.
We know. I mean, this thing was basically washed with, I think, playground sand and a cinder block. I mean, that was kind of the process for washing this thing. So,
or not washed.
Or not washed at all.
Mother Nature take care of it. It feels like it. So we're going to be using our little Scangrip light here. You guys can see that. We're going to check and actually see. We've got some lights under here. It's probably hard to see on camera, so we're going to be using this guy. One thing with this light, you never want to put it directly onto what you're looking at. That's not the best, not only for your corneas, but it's not the best way to hold this light. This light's really designed so that whatever way you're looking into the paint, you want to get that 45-degree angle at. So if you're looking, say at this angle, you want to have the light held that way. So I'm just gonna show you guys with the way the camera is done as to how this actually looks.
Oh, the horror.
This thing has seen some brush scratches, it's got wash scratches, it's got people walking in and out.
Yeah,
it's got some...
That's like a shopping cart mark over there, I think.
Yeah, this is hands. This is just literally fingerprints that have scratched it over the years of getting in and out of it over the last 10 years. But yeah, this light it sees everything. That looks like some puppy snarfles.
And that's definitely been repainted because the fenders are a different color of
yeah,
black
they
than
are
the door.
too. The door and the fender, that has been repainted. It's fun with this light because you can actually see that stuff. And that's also something you need to keep in mind when you're working on a panel is we don't know if this was repainted or if this is stock and this has been repainted. That panel's gonna react differently to our process.
Yeah, so that's something to keep in mind too, yeah, because if we define a process on the one panel that's been repainted, which I can't tell if it was this one or this one, statistics say it's actually the fender, but you never know. But we may need to do a second step-down panel or a progression panel somewhere else in the truck to make sure that that process still applies, because we do it here and it's this paint, and somewhere else it's a different paint. It's not going to respond the same.
And on a vehicle this old, sometimes people cut corners and we may run into the fact that that might be single stage on that panel. Just because it was done cheaply, who's not to say a used car lot has already, this vehicle's probably changed hands a couple different times. It's not an original owner, and so dealerships like to not spend money on things, and so go with a single stage. Yeah, while the rest is clear coat. So it's gonna be fun. So
here we are. So we've got this tape line up here we're just going to use to label what these various steps are.
Right.
And this is the part that most people wouldn't do in their garage or whatever. This is for visual reference for the audience, right? We are not going to touch this section here. This kind of becomes our control, our where did we start point.
Right.
So we want to know what percentage of improvement are we getting along the way.
And if this was a customer's car, then they can see what they have done to neglect their vehicle compared to what your ability is to correct the
Absolutely, like a huge selling tool. If you did this for a customer, said, hey, can you just wait for 20 minutes and let me show you something? They're going to have to book the detail after that because you've now made stripes down their car, but you are going to actually visually show them like, here's step one of what I can do for you.
At this price.
At this price, and if you want me to come back and hit it again, I can get you to here or here or here. And it's a powerful selling tool because a lot of detailing, I think, for customers of detailers is conceptual. They're going, well, I want the marks gone. And you're like, well, yeah, but it's not just as simple as just rubbing on it. There's a process here. So it gets them to appreciate the process. So like I mentioned, here's our new microfiber pad that I was showing you, Mr. Jace. And
very excited.
Microfiber pads are obviously, most people know this, are different than foam in that you have to really prime these well, because in order to get the fiber to perform, it needs to have abrasive on it. And like we mentioned in one of the other videos, microfiber is good, as you know, it grabs and holds. And so we want to make sure that every single fiber, or at least as close as we can get to it, on this pad has compound on it, and it's holding on to it. And I would normally use a putty spreader or something else, but we're going to go with my finger. Compounds are water-based, so at least I won't be
that's good.
suffering any ill effects as a result of doing this. And, okay, so I've got it pretty well basted on there. Now, you wouldn't come back and reload it this way every single time. Obviously, this is our first fresh pad. I've already blown out all the loose fibers. Got to get it ready and primed. Okay, and now, so what we're going to do is I'm going to actually use this process down the entire panel. This is the only step I'm going to do the entire panel with because I want to see what just this step by itself looks like. And then we'll come back and we'll do this step followed by a finer step and see what that result is, if it's better or if it's worth the extra time or effort, right? So I'm going to do all the hard work. You get to just sit back and watch.
I'm excited. And you're at speed?
Yeah, so I'm usually a speed setting 4 guy. We usually recommend the Mark II tool specifically at speed setting 3 or 4, especially on flat areas. You start using 5 and 6 and you get into those deep curves and you need to keep the rotation going. But so for this, Ford F-150 truck door, as flat as can be, right?
Yep, perfect.
And away we go. Ta-da! So, now if I was going to continue on, it's important to note I would be cleaning this microfiber pad before doing any more passes. But
do you have a machine, a little tool that you'd like to talk about?
it's so funny you should mention that, Levi. Levi's very excited about this.
It's one of my favorites.
I've had to stop him from stealing it multiple times already. This is our new clod pad tool. So it's actually a pad cleaning brush for microfiber, wool, foam, whatever. And then the other end of it's actually for dislodging the pads from the backing plate so you don't break that hook and loop by pulling with your fingers. But this, if I was going to continue,
crank it down to 0.
we crank it as low as we can go. Give it a little this. And ta!
Fibers are back and fluffed.
Yep. So it's not, it's not ideal. It's compressed air is still the best way to go, but this I can keep in my pocket and I don't need a compressor to do it. So pretty cool. You want to knock that down for me? I want to see what we got with that first step.
I got this sweet little creature, edgeless and black. Wipe her down.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if I see it different. I'm just kidding.
Are you sure you polished that?
Well, it's shinier.
It's definitely shinier. And this is the exact reason we do this process. I mean, we knew these tree branch scratches down here, that's every single one of those is a fingernail catcher, so that would be a sanding job. But up here where there's a few less of them, only a few of these deeper ones carry over, and we got
some more clarity. There's still a lot of scratches throughout.
You want to grab your light maybe and let's see how bad it truly is?
Something like this, you want to, let's say if your customer is really crazy and they want to make it nice, you're going to have to wet sand when it's this bad. But you can see that we've achieved a higher level of clarity in the paint.
I can see
than
though.
what came previously.
Oh yeah.
If you look at that reflection of the light in there comparatively.
So, and one thing to always note, microfiber is exceptional for cutting, and on some paints it will finish pretty well, but I can see, and I don't know if you're picking it up as well as I am, but there's a DA haze is what it's known as, and that's it's pretty stereotypical of microfiber, especially on black. Most paints are going to leave a bit of a haze. That's why we're doing this step down. This might be, if you are a fleet guy and you're doing volume work for a used car lot,
they might be fine with that.
They might be perfectly okay with it. But for a guy with a collector car or something, he's not going to be very happy that his paint has a haze to it, a very fine haze. So what I'll do is I'm going to throw another stripe of tape down here, and we're going to go grab our yellow foam, our fine foam, and our ceramic fine compound. We'll do a second step and show that next to this, and then we'll get to see, well, there's where we started. There's one step with microfiber. There's a follow-up step with foam.
Second step. Okay. So next step.
So next step, so you can see here, I've already labeled up here, we use the Coarse microfiber pad and our Zephyr, which is the Coarse compound. And then I ran another tape stripe. So this is just to keep these areas separated. I went ahead and primed our pad, just 4 drops of compound, low speed, and some pressure for about a 20 count on the paint is how we prime our pads. Gets some heat into the foam, gets the compound to start migrating. And I am using our yellow foam, which tends to be our most popular foam. It's our fine.
It's one of my favorite foams.
It's probably the most versatile in the line, honestly, in my opinion. I really like this foam, and I'm using it with, of course, as we color code everything, ceramic gloss, which is our fine compound. This is what I'm going to guess is going to be the right combination. Again, I'm guessing. So if we get perfect here, I'm still probably going to do one more step at the end with an even finer product to see if it gets any better. But maybe I can charge the guy for a 3-step. Who knows, right? So I'm only going to add 2 more drops of this, and I'm going to keep doing the hard work. You just stand there and look pretty.
Not a problem.
Again, speed 4 on the Mark II. Again, this is because the increased torque of this tool. If you run your tool at speed 6 all the time, the heat, especially with the microfiber pads that you're going to introduce into the system, is going to cause your backing plates to fail prematurely. It's going to really stress the pads out prematurely. There's no need. At speed 4, you've got all the torque in the world. It's extremely effective at that speed, and then you have higher speeds to go to if you get into that situation where you need it. You notice how careful I was not to hit that part that we didn't mask off?
Well, a lot of people, you can mask it off, but Dylan and I are professionals. We've been doing this for like 20 years. So.
Don't try this at home.
Right. We like to live dangerously. But if you're doing this in a shop setting, probably should mask it off.
Yep.
Just so that you don't damage your customer's car. the right way.
And we are testing. This is not detailing.
Yeah,
Testing.
exactly.
Different environment.
Exactly.
So knock that off.
So again, creature edgeless.
Taking care of that quite easily.
This stuff comes off so nicely. I really do like it.
Down here. Yep, there we go. Even before we pull that tape, I can tell.
Yeah. That looks really good.
Yeah, so
That looks really good.
while we got it, let's go ahead and just mark it now. So that was our plus yellow foam plus ceramic, which is the fine compound. So now we know in our testing here, we've gone coarse microfiber plus Zephyr, just the coarse, yellow foam followed by ceramic. And you want to get the light out there, Levi, and take another look.
Let's get her out here and see what we got.
We'll even roll this tape up a little bit to give a cleaner before and after.
So, oh yeah, right off the bat.
Yeah, all that
see.
DA haze is gone from.
Yep. And some of the lighter or heavier, deeper scratching
Improved even
has
more.
improved. You know, there's still some of the heavy ones.
Yep.
But again, those aren't going to come out anyway. But farther up on the door, where there's less, it's just so clean, clear. And then again, what we started with.
Well, if that doesn't sell a paint correction job to a customer, I don't know what will, right?
Yep. But there's more.
But there's more. I always like to, we'll put our tape back here one more time, but I like to do one additional step even beyond what I would typically do. This is deliverable for this condition of car starting point, and 2 steps is really, your entire process should be efficient. You should try to get everything done in 2 steps if possible, unless somebody's willing to pay you to do 3, right?
Yep.
So we're gonna attempt one last pass with our white foam, which is an ultrafine, and diamond, which is ultrafine compound. Crazy enough, they're gonna be white and white. Shocking how we do that, right?
Nice.
And we'll see if there's enough improvement there to justify it. And for you guys out there who run shops, you would have to explain to your customer, hey, this is a whole other step. The price would be this much more, but this is 3 steps. I can do this. Is it worth it to you? A lot of customers are gonna go, that looks great.
Yeah, exactly.
That looks only a little bit better. It's that last couple percentage points of improvement that really, each customer has to decide for themselves.
And you never know. Taking the extra 5 minutes to do that, and say, could be $100 to $200 extra dollars to do that for your customer. They might just see that and go, oh yeah, no, we're going to do this final step.
All out, yeah.
And it took you 5 minutes, and you're going to make an extra $200 selling your customer, or whatever the pricing is going to be for your neck of the woods in various areas. But you're right. People are going to see it and go, yeah, I don't see the difference. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
They're also going to tell their friends, because they're going to say, holy cow, I didn't know how messed up my car was.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell these guys, show me. I just came in for a wax job.
All right, so I'll get the tape on there. We'll
do
get
it.
this set up with the white compound and white pad, and we'll do our last step and
Rock and
look
roll.
at it. All right. Oh, my lovely assistant, Levi.
Coming. All right.
So there's our last step. You want to wipe that one down, and we'll do another inspection and see where we're at. See if the 3rd step is justified.
Love this towel because it's also got a dual ply. So one side's got a longer nap than the other.
I can see your reflection from over here.
I can see you all the way through. That's pretty nice.
All right. Well,
So that looks,
pretty darn good.
yeah.
But is it enough to justify a 3rd step? And that's what we're trying to figure out here, right? So I would say,
And remember, this is a test panel, so farther down towards this end of this door, we haven't
we're not messing with
worked
it.
as much. We were mostly trying to structure this area, just so that we could see, and that way you can show your customer what can be done.
Let's see. What do you think?
So there's that. Get in there, Dane. We've got a little more clarity, probably outside. Once we get it out there, it's probably got a deeper gloss to it. You can see that where this still has some of the heavier scratches in here, that has filled more of them. They're still visible, they're still there, but from the angle that we'll be standing at, you probably won't even notice them anymore. And then again, go back to the first step.
And where we
Again,
started.
what we started with, what the truck looked like.
All over, and still looks like all over.
So, and you're right. Most customers are going to look at that and say that the second step is probably perfect.
Does the percentage of improvement justify the price? And it's going to be a customer by customer thing. There are customers who would pay for that because they've got something they're going to take to a show, and every little degree of gloss is going to be better. And you're also not going to be having to improve deep scratches like this. So it's a case by case, but this is an excellent illustration of just being able to see, especially if we pull this up, where we started from and where we went to. And really in 2 steps, we got what we would expect. In 1 step, technically, like I said, if this was fleet work, this is going back to a used car lot or
going to auction.
Going to auction. Step 1 would have been more than sufficient, and I could have knocked it out, lower price, volume work. This would be more for my picky customer. They want almost perfect, good, a great improvement. And then down at the end is the guy who's taking it to a car show. But if he started out here, I hope he's not taking it to a car show.
Yeah, that would not be, but I have had customers where they've come in and it was their grandfather's truck. They got it willed to them, and maybe it wasn't the greatest, but it was the only thing they got, and they wanted to put a little money in it because they thought, well, we'll keep it nice and drive it. And, cars like you and I have talked about seem to have a soul. And so realistically, you want to do this for your customer because you don't know where they're going to be at. You don't know if they can afford $120 or $200 or $300, whatever your step 1 charges, or they can charge up to, maybe you're $1,000 or $1,500 on a 4-step, but you don't know.
Yeah, and it's also, that's an excellent point too, because if you've got a customer who is on a budget, you can at least with this process show them, hey, for the money you can pay, this is what I can get you to. Is that acceptable?
Yeah.
If it's not, that's fine too. I mean, they'll just say, I just can't afford to do the 2-step, but at least you're giving them options within the range instead of going, I only do this and it's a 2-step and sorry, you take that and it's this price, and they go, I don't have that much money.
Or what you do is you educate them on this and then they come back to you because maybe they can't afford it now, but who knows? You don't know that maybe they're going to save up and they're going to plan it. And they're like, man, he did this on the truck and this is where I want to be. And I really want that truck to look good. So that's what they'll go for.
Awesome, dude.
And
this is fun.
I'm having a blast. I'm enjoying it. So if you want to check out any more of the products, the equipment, the tools, learn about the company, it's RUPES.
RUPES.com. It's a global website, or you can follow us on Facebook, and that's where you'll get announcements about events, new products being released, all that fun stuff will be on the Facebook page as always.
And you can follow them there, follow them on Instagram, all that good stuff. And for more videos, stay tuned right here on the Rag Company YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.